All right, yo, what's up? My name's Patrouski, and there's been some information regarding shiny legendaries and their rates within my own Discord for months. These were posted back on December 17th around Johto's release and such, and I totally didn't see this information. I totally missed over this, so if I missed over it, I'm sure a lot of people in the community also aren't aware of this. We had some conversations with Rach, thanks to Xanarchy, asking some great questions. Let's jump into it. Rach is open to answering questions right here. As Xanarchy says, he has around 10 questions or so to ask. He says, just to confirm, legendary shiny chance is the same 1 out of 30,000 rate that it is for everything else, correct? Just want to dispel that rumor. And Rach says, actually, it's a bit higher. We wanted people to actually find them. It may not end up staying at its current rate, but it depends on how many enter the game. Higher as in less rare, and yes, less rare. So shiny legendaries are actually less rare, or I guess less than a 1/3. Obviously, they're still very rare. You have to encounter them. It's a very, very small chance to encounter them, but it's a less than 1 out of 30,000 encounter rate for the shiny, which is really, really crazy information that I didn't know about personally. And then Pori goes on to ask, and people go on to ask, like, hey, can you give us a little bit of range? And we don't get the shiny rate range. That is totally unknown. But Rach does go on to say that the range for the shiny, and I kind of knew this information. I heard this information in passing, and I've been repeating somewhere between 2,000 to 8,000 encounters is the guesstimation for the normal legendary rate, not the shiny rate. But the exact numbers are 1,001 and 7,999. The rate for the legendaries is somewhere in between there, and Rach does say they don't want to give the exact numbers while they're still tweaking them and changing them, which is a very, very, very fair reason, so understandable. Legendaries are tricky to balance in that they can't be too common because they're legendary, but can't be too rare because they're competitively important. This is very true, and I think it's important to keep this in mind. Super, super accurate. It'll take us a bit to figure out what's appropriate, only fair. I personally feel in around 6K range. Yep. Something to keep in mind if people are trying to gather data, by the way, is that encounter counters that go up by multiple if the battle is against multiple Pokemon will give you inaccurate numbers. They can't appear in double battles or hordes. Instead, they have a chance to override your encounter entirely. A horde is only 1 encounter in a legendary hunt, not 3 to 5. I definitely thought personally that if you encountered a wild horde, it would count as 5 rolls. So I was totally mistaken in that. So I apologize if I told anybody that. That was definitely my presumption. Yeah, so it's only 1 encounter per encounter. Now, does that make... I think expert lures are still worth using, in my opinion, during a legendary hunt, just if you're shunting anyway, as well as you just get the 10% increased chance to find an encounter on top of the 10% from swarm. You know, it's still nice, but those double battles and stuff aren't going to give you 2 encounters, which is only fair and only makes sense. Easiest way to, without making changes to the tracker, is probably to click a button every battle. Sure. And then someone asked, Clue asked, would you guys ever consider adding a tracker in the game? I put in a request for it a few months back, but it's not very high priority. It'll probably happen someday, but can't guarantee anytime soon. I thought this was pretty crazy, and I'm kind of surprised. This wouldn't be higher priority. Maybe I'm silly. I think this is a pretty high priority. I don't know how much dev time it would actually take, so maybe I'm incorrect there, but yeah, if you guys want to see an in-game implemented encounter counter and like how high you'd like to see that prioritized, I think community feedback on that would be really appreciated in the comments. And then there's a little more discussion here. General encounters are a lot of data to store, so that isn't very useful to anyone except for the player doing the encounter. Without that data actually being shared with them, no reason to track it. So they don't track individual encounters generally, but they do count legendaries, which you know makes sense. Anything else that was asked that was interesting? Current case. This is going to be particularly draining. An event season anniversary is still planned. Fuck, this was back in September. Anniversary was still planned. Unfortunately, didn't work out that way, but that's okay. This is back when they were still discussing anniversary post-Halloween event, I've heard. Depends on how we handle it. There's a non-zero chance we'll shift focus to Halloween before it's done and release the anniversary event later. No official ETA. Yup. All right. That's pretty much it for all these questions. I think a lot of... wait, one more thing, actually. We probably still want to do them for some legendaries. Dungeons... Wait, let me go back to this. Dungeons is the only thing I'm looking forward to, assuming that's still a thing eventually. I remember PokeMMO tweeting about it, how that would be they introduce legendaries and hillbilly Pokemon. That is super true. Back in the day, that was the assumption. We'll probably still do them for some legendaries, but I don't think it's realistic to do a fully custom dungeon for all of them individually. Yeah, for sure. So having releasing them via few events and simpler methods for now. Okay, understandable. And then one more quick question. Is there any official reason on why the spacebar refresh on the GTL was removed? And Rage just says it was unintentional. All right, that's it. Just some weird information, some really good, in my opinion, like game knowledge that was released back in September that I totally missed. I'm sure a lot of people missed out on this. The biggest takeaway here being that the shiny rate for legendaries is higher than 1 out of 30,000. That's news to me. I literally didn't know that. That's kind of shocking to me. So, but it makes a lot of sense. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of people have come to the position where it's like, oh, like, you know, we're gonna see a shiny legendary day one of like a new release. It's just bound to happen, which is kind of lame, but I don't know. Depends how you think about it. I think it's cool that people have access to them. Whatever, right? Cool little update. Hopefully it was helpful. Like the video if it was. Dislike if not. Subscribe for daily videos. Follow this Twitch for streams Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET. I am taking this week off. I'll probably upload this video ASAP. I am taking this week off because to give myself a little bit of a break post-event season, or post, not really full event. You still have a Lunar New Year event coming up, but I'm also sick, if you can't tell, so a little bit of a rest week for me. That's really it for me. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you later. Hope this was helpful. Peace, Sereno.